They call it one of the emptiest places on Earth. But scientists see it very differently. Because beneath the endless snow, beneath the frozen rivers, beneath a landscape that appears completely lifeless, lies something that has remained untouched for tens of thousands of years. And now, for the first time in human history, that frozen world is beginning to open. Across northern Russia, the ground is exploding without warning. Massive craters appear almost overnight. Entire hills collapse into giant holes. Perfectly preserved Ice Age animals emerge from the ice as if they had died yesterday. Ancient microbes, locked away since before civilization existed, are being exposed once again. The Russian tundra isn't just cold. It's becoming one of the most mysterious, and most closely watched, places on Earth. Stretching across northern Siberia for thousands of kilometers, the Russian tundra forms one of the largest wilderness regions on the planet. It covers millions of square kilometers, crossing mountains, rivers, and coastlines until it disappears into the Arctic Ocean. There are almost no roads. Very few permanent settlements. Some regions are so isolated that helicopters are still the only reliable way to reach them. Winter transforms this landscape into another world. Temperatures can fall below -50 degrees Celsius. Blizzards erase every landmark within minutes. For weeks, the sun never rises above the horizon. Even satellites struggle to monitor certain areas through constant storms and darkness. It is one of the few places on Earth where nature still has complete control. But the greatest mystery isn't what you can see. It's what lies beneath your feet. Much of Siberia rests on permafrost, ground that has remained frozen continuously for thousands of years. Some layers have stayed frozen since the last ice age. Imagine the largest natural freezer on Earth. Everything trapped inside has been preserved by the cold. Ancient forests, plants, pollen, bacteria, even entire animals. Over the years, scientists have uncovered astonishing discoveries from this frozen archive. Perfectly preserved woolly mammoths, Ice Age bison, cave lion cubs, and a young horse that still had its skin, hair, and internal organs after more than 40,000 years. The freezing temperatures had slowed time itself. Every discovery reveals another chapter of a world that disappeared long before human history was written. But recently, something unexpected began happening. The ground itself started exploding. In 2014, helicopter pilots flying over Russia's Yamal Peninsula noticed something impossible. A giant circular hole in the middle of the tundra. It hadn't been there before. Nearly 30 meters across. Steep walls. Scattered debris surrounding the crater. At first, nobody knew what had created it. Some suspected a meteorite. Others wondered whether it was connected to underground military activity. The truth turned out to be even stranger. Deep beneath the frozen surface, methane gas had been building pressure for years beneath layers of ice and frozen soil. Eventually, the pressure became too great. The ground exploded from the inside. The frozen earth was thrown into the air. When the dust settled, only a massive crater remained. Since that first discovery, researchers have identified many more similar craters across the Arctic. Some appear in places so remote that nobody witnesses the explosion. By the time scientists arrive, the landscape has already changed. Within a few years, many of these craters fill with water. They become perfectly ordinary lakes. From the sky, nobody would ever guess that an enormous explosion once occurred beneath the surface. How many Arctic lakes were created this way? No one knows. And the tundra continues to keep its answer hidden. The mystery doesn't end there. Scattered across the Russian Arctic are places that feel frozen in time. Tiny settlements where only a handful of people remain. Old weather stations still collecting data after decades. Remote islands visited by very few researchers. Places like Dixon, Tixi, Novaya Zemlya, Vigich Island, and the vast Taimyr Peninsula remain among the least explored regions in the world. Some contain abandoned buildings where equipment, maps, and handwritten records were simply left behind. Others preserve traces of ancient trade routes that crossed the Arctic centuries before modern roads ever existed. Every expedition uncovers another piece of the puzzle. But there is one location that has become impossible for scientists to ignore. In eastern Siberia, near the settlement of Batagaika, the ground is collapsing on an extraordinary scale. Known as the Batagaika Mega Slump, this enormous scar stretches for hundreds of meters and continues growing every single year. It isn't a meteor crater. It isn't volcanic. It exists because the frozen ground is melting. As the ice disappears, entire sections of land sink into the earth, exposing layers that have remained sealed for tens of thousands of years. Each summer, the walls collapse a little farther. Each collapse reveals something new. Researchers have recovered remarkably preserved Ice Age animals from these frozen layers, including ancient horses, bison, wolves, and even the head of a woolly rhinoceros with soft tissue still intact. For paleontologists, it is one of the most extraordinary natural windows into Earth's distant past. But for climate scientists, it represents something far more concerning. Because Batagaika is still expanding. And it isn't alone. Across the Arctic, rising temperatures are thawing permafrost faster than many scientists expected. When frozen ground melts, it releases methane, a greenhouse gas far more powerful than carbon dioxide over short periods. The warmer the climate becomes, the more permafrost melts, the more methane escapes, and the faster the cycle continues. Entire landscapes are changing. Roads crack. Buildings sink. Coastlines collapse. Ancient ecosystems, untouched since the Ice Age, are emerging into a world completely different from the one they were preserved in. Scientists believe the Russian tundra may hold countless discoveries that have never been seen by human eyes. Ancient DNA. Unknown microorganisms. Evidence of vanished environments. Perhaps even clues that could reshape our understanding of Earth's history. But every new discovery comes with another reminder. The only reason these secrets are appearing is because the frozen world that protected them for thousands of years is beginning to disappear. The Russian tundra looks silent. It looks empty. It looks lifeless. But beneath its frozen surface lies one of the greatest natural archives on our planet. And every passing summer unlocks another page of a story that remained hidden since the Ice Age. The greatest mystery isn't what scientists have already found. It's what the thawing ground will reveal next.